Good morning. Welcome to this week's edition of Coffee is for Closers from WZ. Wayne Hoover here. As you saw, I got my mug. All you need is love and a bulldog. Big bull. Sure that you spread that love this week. I know it was a crazy weekend with Easter last weekend. And last week when I was presenting, I was talking about mental health and the concerns that it's kind of crazy statistics, right? When we first started, 40% said that they were having issues with stress and worrying and things of that nature. And then last week it said it was up to a good 70%. So last week I hosted a webinar on mental health with Dr. Amanda Poundstone and Dr. Kevin Burke. And unbelievable. If you get a chance to go and listen, we had over 550 people sign up quickly after one email. It was amazing how quick everybody signed up for it. And I got some important takeaways listening to it. And one was the struggle with structure. I don't know about you, I travel for a living, right? So I've got the ability to pack for a whole week in one bag in less than 10 minutes because I've been doing it for 29 years here at WZ. So we got to develop a new norm to help mitigate our loss of control. And then the other takeaway that I absolutely loved was a phrase that Dr. Poundstone used. She goes, issues in our tissues. And it really made me focus on, all right, Tony earlier this week did something on eating and exercising. And that's really what she's talking about. We hold our issues in our tissues. If we're stressed, if we're not eating right, we're not sleeping right, we're not exercising right, it's something that affects us in our tissues. So make sure that you're creating that new norm to struggle with structure. So that way it creates that structure that you're going to have at least in the foreseeable future. The other one that they talked about was family. It was another valuable takeaway. You're not the only one dealing with it, and you already know this. It's our families, right? Push for engagement, especially kids. I've got 4 kids. I reach out to them every week. I've got 4 kids plus a kind of an adopted kid from Columbia that's up here for college that lived with me when he was 16 and 17 and 18 and now 19. So how do we deal with our families and make sure that they're engaged? And so last weekend, I took it upon myself after listening to that webinar. I'm a big basketball fan. My wife's a daughter of a college basketball coach, right? He's in the Hall of Fame. So we decided to have a basketball tournament. And in fact, my daughter asked me last night for my coffee break to make an announcement to all of you that she is the youngest of my 4 children, both in age and in ability, apparently, because she is the youngest of my children to ever beat me at a game of horse and basketball. She wanted me to announce that to everybody. That being said, I also played left-handed because I've got a broken collarbone. So, but I wasn't supposed to mention that part. So then we moved on to ping pong. My wife played video games with the 2 younger kids. We ended up playing Uno, aggravation, all that kind of stuff. And while it engaged everybody, we had a fun time. We are a competitive family, and I think I'm in agreement with my kids and my wife. We're like, hey, there's nothing wrong with getting the competitive juices flowing. There's nothing wrong with being a closer. There's nothing wrong with winning those competitions if you're going to do it. And obviously in a fun way. Speaking of being a closer, hopefully last week's recommendation of Glengarry Glen Ross, everybody had an opportunity to see it. And then just jumping back to that webinar last week, it was great takeaways. In fact, I'm sending you a link right now. I just posted it. You can go to certifiedinterviewer.com, click the II events and then past webinars, and you'll have the ability to see that webinar as a recording. Next week, we have a wonderful lineup for the WZ coffee breaks. In fact, one of the things that we're going to do is have some new people on, and we're also going to try and get our support staff, all of them, on a call for these coffee breaks. And with that, I hope you had a good week. As we close out the week, I want to make sure that you have a great weekend, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.